Hello everybody, welcome to a completely new project. So what we're going to do for this one, this is going to span through the entire history of Formula 1. No changes to the norm, it is very much going to be as it was. With one crucial change though, the starting grids are going to be the finish order of the previous race. So all previous race results carry over. However, if a driver's come in as a stand-in, if they've changed teams, they will go to the back of the grid, behind all the drivers who competed in the previous race. So when seasons change and drivers move teams, or if a driver in real life got injured or had to sit out through illness, their replacement will have to go to the back of the grid and work their way through in the respective races, and then that driver themselves will have to do the same when they come back. So that is what we're working to here. The point system will be as was. So there we go then. It's Farina on pole. You've got Fagioli, Fangio and regparnell. They are the top four on the grid, as was the case in the real 1950 season. Let's see how they get on. It's away, and Farina with a poor start. Fangio, I think, making the best start. Fagioli not too bad off of the line. And then everybody else is lacking quite a bit of pace there. So already you can see the absolutely stunning speed of those Alfa Romeos as they pull away. 1, 2, 3 and 4. It's a lovely sunny day here at Silverstone for the opening of the Formula 1 World Championship, and it's Fangio who is in the lead. Regparnell is up into second place, so the Alfa Romeos at the moment having a good little swap around between each other. Farina, the pre-race favourite, he's dropped to fourth. Fagioli trying to use all that experience, but he's in third, and it's the Argentine Fangio who's leading the race at the moment. But the home hero Regparnell, he is coming up for a look at his teammate as they go down there into the corner, and it's just, I expect this is just going to be a great race, isn't it? Even though the Alfa Romeos might have it sewn up, they are going to be battling between them, and Parnell has gone through into the lead, and I think Fangio runs a little bit wide, and that will enable Fagioli to get through as well. So good moves there. Now it's Farina's turn to have a look at Fangio, and that's louischiron up into fifth in the Maserati. Fangio dropping back into fourth, and in fact under pressure from louischiron, who has gone through in the Maserati. So the Maserati is able to compete with the Alfa Romeos. So, well, there is very much a chance there. Fagioli forges his way through into the lead, so Luigi Fagioli leads the British Grand Prix. That gives a lot of hope for Alfa Romeo, and Fagioli is pulling away as it gets wetter. Fagioli is getting stronger and stronger, and Parnell has lost position to Farina now. So Farina up into second, he's going back into it. Chiron is still there in fourth. Fangio, the early race leader, dropped to fifth place at this moment in time as louischiron sets his sights on his next Alfa Romeo target. And, well, can he get on the podium then? That would be unexpected. Chiron runs a bit wide there, and Fangio is looking for a way through, but then he gets some grip, and he is now going to make the move and get up into third place. Great move from louischiron, and surely he is going to have a great chance in that Maserati now, because the Alphas are quite a way ahead, so they'll be hoping that they can hold on with that position, but you just never know, do you? And I wonder if Alfa Romeo just shot their bolt too soon, and they've tired out their tyres, and the wet weather I don't think ultimately helped them much. But there's Farina going the outside of Fagioli and into the lead. Farina back into the lead, brilliant move, and now Nino Farina leads the Grand Prix, but it's Chiron is going past Fagioli. So can Farina pull away? If he doesn't, the Alphas could be in trouble. Fagioli trying to fight back, and Farina is still holding on at the moment, but Chiron is getting closer and closer. There was definitely the ability for louischiron to challenge and beat Alfa Romeo. We didn't see this coming after qualifying or in the early stages of this race, but now louischiron is right there applying the pressure. Farina leading, Chiron second, Fagioli third, and they've still got Parnell and Fangio in behind them, and there is going to be definitely some desperation from Alfa Romeo to try to claw this back, although Farina is actually getting away from Chiron, and Chiron's starting to struggle. So at this point Alfa look like they might be alright again. Chiron is under pressure from Fagioli still, but all of a sudden they close in again, and Farina still trying to hold on, but louischiron going around the outside, and now he has the lead. Maserati lead the British Grand Prix. And Louis-Chiron is on course to win the opening Grand Prix of the Formula 1 World Championship. Can Farina hold on to second? It looks like the Maserati is gone and Alphas are going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a shock for them. They hoped and probably expected to win this race. Just shows you can't afford to be complacent. Ascari has got his Ferrari all the way up from 26th to 8th place. That's not bad at all from him. And there's the yellow flag, and that's Farina. Farina has gone off. Alfa Romeo's leading car. Well, that's a shock. And remember, the rule we brought in, Farina is going to be starting from well back in the next race. Louis-Chiron, he could well be starting from pole position in the next race. He is leading this one. Fagioli up to second, then Parnell back into the podium positions at his home Grand Prix. And then it's Fangio trying desperately to hold off that other Maserati. And I don't know if at the moment if he's managing it, to be honest, but he's certainly going to give that a go, because Alfa Romeo needs to find that pace, because Chiron crosses the line and wins the British Grand Prix. Luigifagioli comes home in second place, regparnell in third. Hello, welcome to the 1950 Monaco Grand Prix, the second ever round of the Formula 1 World Championship. And we see Louis-Chiron, of course, reaping the benefits of winning at Silverstone by being on pole here. However, the game already in only the second race, I was hoping this was going to go right for at least a while. I knew this was going to be a problem at some point, but Farina was supposed to start 19th after clumping the curbing at Silverstone and going out of the race, but the game will only let him start second unless I want 2 Louis-Chirons. So Farina's earned a bit of a reprieve, and he is starting second, which means everybody else goes down a place, back to 19th position. So that is what we're going to have to work with. So Farina will be grateful for that, I'm sure. The Alfa Romeos are still therefore all around Louis-Chiron. There we go. So Chiron sitting on pole position. He will want, of course, to get that result today, to get that Monaco win, the home victory. But he's got Alfa Romeos all around him. Let's see what happens. Chiron off the line a little bit slowly, and the Alfas are straight off the line. Well, this happened at Silverstone, didn't it? Nobody could match the Alfa Romeos in the opening section of the Grand Prix. Chiron up on the curbing there. That won't help him at all. And the Alfa's already off into the distance. And Chiron into fourth. I think he's still ahead of one of those Alfa Romeos. But Farina takes the lead. Well, he's making the most of his reprieve here, isn't he? Into the lead. Fagioli there, and I think Fangio in third. So, and Parnell down in fifth behind Chiron, who is already trying to keep up with those Alfa Romeos. Once again, it looks like the Alfa Romeo is the car to have, but there is some absolutely outstanding performance from Louis-Chiron in the Maserati as he now goes around the outside of Fangio and back into the podium places, so he wasn't out of that top three for very long at all. We've got still, that's Chiron running a bit wide, but he's still quite comfortably able to stay on top of Fangio, whilst Farina and Fagioli lead in the first and second positions there. Gonzalez in the Maserati, he is also keeping up. Ascari in that Ferrari has lost a little bit of ground. Into lap one, Chiron still pushing to try to pass Luigi Fagioli, and through he goes and straight into the lead, past Farina as well. Well, we didn't necessarily expect to see the Maserati running that quickly, but Chiron has done it. He is into the lead already. Now what happens now? Can Alfa Romeo keep up with him? We will see the continuation of the British Grand Prix where they were trying to chase, but can they chase? Chiron is looking very, very good, very, very solid. Farina, he's got Fagioli there behind him, who is certainly not immune to mistakes in this race, and Gonzalez still sitting there in sixth place, hoping to get a chance to pounce. He's in the Maserati just like Chiron. Farina is holding his teammates back somewhat. Would they be able to do anything? On Fagioli, very wide there, and Fangio, I think, is going to get his teammate and get past. Yeah, Fagioli trying to fight back, and there's a little bit of contact between those two Alfa Romeos there. Not the sort of thing you want in the 1950s Grand Prix cars. You really want to avoid contact. Farina and Fagioli, Fangio and Fagioli wheel to wheel, and that's Gonzalez. Any hope he had of getting in the points has gone. Gonzalez has flipped his Maserati. Well, it's a long race here at Monaco, and the mistakes are already starting to creep in. Gonzalez out of the race. He will start low down in Indianapolis. Fangio holding on to that third place behind Farina, because Chiron is away and surely going to win this race unless he has an issue, because he's looking very, very good. And a home win for the Monegasque, it would be fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And let's see what's happening with the Alphas behind, because Fagioli for the first time hasn't made a mistake at the hairpin there, and Parnell still in fifth, seems happy enough to sit back behind his teammates there. Ascari has lost a little bit of ground, and he's now got Byra's Maserati up behind him. Byra's starting to find a little bit of pace. There's Fangio closing down Farina. Fangio would love to get into that second, and then hopefully he can do something about Chiron and give us a little bit of a race to enjoy. But here's Farina now coming down to the chicane. Fangio, he's got very wide and flips, and that's Fangio. Whoa! Well, he's got a nice view of the rest of the race from the top of the boat, I think. But wow, what an incident! Fangio is off and he's out, and there's been more happening as well. Ascari has gone off, so there was more chaos after Fangio's incident, I think. But it is Farina, Fagioli and Parnell. The three Alfa Romeos now into 2, 3, 4 as Fangio retires from the race. So he is going to have a big battle in Indianapolis because he'll be starting from further back. Ascari into 6th place. Can he hold on in that Ferrari? We know Ferrari have not quite got their car sorted as much as they would like to yet. And there's that Bonetto going inside. But yeah, Byra's already passed Ascari. Bonetto now going inside in Maserati, making it clear that they want to catch their other cars up to the Alfa Romeos. LeVay's Talbot already being lapped, and he's gone into the pits. He's obviously got an issue and wants to stay out of the way of those much faster cars behind him. Look at Byra. Byra's coming up, and he's in the 4th place in that Maserati. This could well be a strong finish for Maserati, at least a double podium. And Fagioli's got to try to keep Byra behind for as long as possible, because he is definitely now a threat, I would say, to Giuseppe Farina's 2nd place. And the race is unravelling for Alfa Romeo. They appear to have the pace at the start of the race, and the longer the race goes on, it just unravels more and more for the Alfas. And Farina's still in 2nd at the moment, but now Byra is up behind him in 3rd place in a very quick car. We know how quick that car is because Chiron is showing it very well. And Byra, who wasn't able to make much of an impression in Silverstone but still took a couple of points, had a poor start here, but he has recovered from that, and he's found some pace and endurance, and he's now up into 3rd, but he's got every chance of still in that 2nd place from Giuseppe Farina. It's getting closer and closer, and Byra having a look because he wants to take that position, and he does so. So Prince Byra up into 2nd place in the Maserati. So it's a 1-2 for Maserati here in Monaco now. 3, 4, 5 for Alfa Romeo as things stand. But Parnell is under pressure from Bonetto in that 3rd Maserati. Is Bonetto going to make his way through? Parnell trying his best to hold him off, racing a bit wheel to wheel like Fangio and Fagioli earlier, and Fagioli has made a major error, and he's slowing and he's delayed. Was that Bonetto or Parnell he's delayed? I couldn't quite see, but Fagioli is going to be out of the race, so that's 2 of the 3 Fs out of this Grand Prix, and that means they're both going to be starting from back. Well, we should see some action in Indianapolis, especially with the pace the Alphas have earlier. Oh, that's another car off. Who is that? I didn't even see who that was. But it's creating more and more chaos. That is that Byra? Chiron wins the race. We haven't even seen, there's so much going on that we haven't. No, Byra's 2nd. I think that was Bonetto. Bonetto who went off. So much action. We didn't even see Chiron cross the line. But Chiron does indeed cross the line. Bonetto, I think, had just passed Parnell, but he has gone off, and that will hand the position back to the Alfa Romeo, which is a massive relief for them. They have certainly not had a strong race. Hello everybody, welcome to the 1950 United States Grand Prix with previous results carrying. Unfortunately, the game still won't let me put Farina in his actual starting position. At least this time it's only 3rd instead of 2nd, so Farina and Byra swap positions. But I had another problem, and that was that it kept trying to duplicate louischiron. So in order to get Farina in the race, I had to put 33 drivers on the grid and duplicate a driver. So I've duplicated a driver who I don't think will threaten the points, and his highest position will count as his starting position for the next race out of his 2 drivers. So I've duplicated Cuff Harrison, who I don't expect to be scoring points. It might surprise me. So Chiron starting on pole. We know those Alphas often to be quick at the start, so it'll be interesting to see what Farina can do versus Chiron and Byra, who absolutely dominated the Monaco Grand Prix. And Farina is away very clearly and obviously well, and Parnell looking to stick his nose through as well. And Farina straight into the lead instantly. Who's in 2nd? It's Chiron at the moment. Chiron is holding on. And look at the lead Farina's getting already. Well, Farina is definitely leading, and Parnell has passed Chiron. We didn't even see it. He just did it just like that. Probably did see it, but I wasn't fully focusing on what was going on. It's quite hard to tell on this camera angle on these old races when a lot of the cars are similar colours, all the Alphas, Maseratis, Ferraris. It's quite hard to tell who is who, so it can be a bit of a can be a bit of a maze at times watching these old Grand Prix. But Farina, we know that for certain Farina is leading and Parnell is in second place. Fagioli, he started 14th on the grid. We've only had 2 laps and Fagioli is already up into third place. There is that pack of Maseratis with Fangio starting to make his way through, and Fangio's his aim's going to be 4th place in this race. Clearly Hampshire, as well, Hampshire wasn't leading Maserati, but Chiron has now found his way back through. So Chiron has found something, he's up in the 4th, and I wonder if Louis Chiron now can start closing down those Alfa Romeos. What will be key is how Fangio does when Fangio clears the rest of those Maseratis, which is surely going to happen, and in the not too distant future. The key question will be if Fangio can catch and pass Chiron. I think if Fangio does so, then you know that Maserati have not got a hope in this race, and they are racing for 5th place, excluding any retirements that may occur. Here's Chiron, and he's got Fangio right up behind him. This is the key moment for Maserati's race. Have they got any hope of holding off that 4th Alfa Romeo? They'll certainly try. Chiron will certainly try, but Fangio is looking pretty pacey. Alfa Romeo they're just irresistible in this race. A totally immovable object, and I'm sure Fangio is going to look to pass Chiron. He's clearly in trouble with his pace. It's not going to be Chiron interfering with the Alfa Romeo 1, 2, 3, 4. He will try to hold Fangio off for as long as is physically possible, but with Chiron getting stuck behind back markers, that's not going to help him either. And through goes Fangio. Nice and easy move for Juanmanuelfangio, and he is up in the 4th. Louis Chiron now in 5th place, assuming it's the same guys, which I'm pretty sure it is. They're now being caught by Farina once again as Farina goes through and comes through to move into another lap. And you'll have to excuse my yawns, it's been that sort of race so far, hasn't it? And Fangio still running comfortably ahead of Chiron. So Chiron, having won the opening 2 races, having basically dominated, it's all falling apart for him a bit today. He's doing all he can in his car, but the most his car can achieve is 5th behind these 4 spectacular Alfa Romeos. It wouldn't have mattered, I don't think, if they'd have started at the very back of the grid. They'd have still been 1, 2, 3, 4. Farina starting 2nd or 3rd, that didn't really make a difference. But now Farina is being really badly held up by these back markers, and I think Parnell, he might be about to come into the hunt here, because is that Parnell right behind, or is that another back marker, quicker back marker than those two? I'm not entirely sure. I say it's really hard to tell. What is it? Well, you can tell the Alphas because they've got the coloured rings on the front, but you can't really tell the Maseratis and Ferraris apart, certainly not from a distance. You can see Chiron's got that little bit of a white front as well, and so is his, because the Maserati are split in separate teams. We just class it all as one team, but the guy who's running alongside Chiron in his team will have that same decal on the car. But
it's stuck in 4th gear.
Oh, there's some news. Fangio is stuck in gear. Now, this is going to be a test for the Alpha's pace and dominance. Will Fangio be able to hold Chiron back? He's 20 seconds ahead. I think there's only 1 lap left to go. Farina is getting badly held up once again, and this is a massive trial of back markers. The race might not be over. It might be about to get a bit dramatic, because Parnell, he is going to look to close in here. He might just have one final chance. And look at that, the gap. That is the gap now. It really has closed in. And Farina is desperate to finish, but he has finished. He crosses the line, but Reg Parnell only 6/10 of a second behind at the end of the race. Shows how badly held up Farina got in the closing stages. But Giuseppe Farina does win the race. Parnell 6/10 behind. Fagioli 8.7 behind, so never really able to close on his 2 teammates. And Fangio 18.3. He did close a bit, certainly on Farina, by the end of the race. Hello, welcome to the 1950 Swiss Grand Prix. Farina, he carries over his win from Indianapolis into a pole position here. However, Reg Parnell, he has moved from Alfa Romeo to Maserati, so he is conspicuous by his absence from the front of the grid, and it's Fagioli and Fangio who take up the position, and championship leader Louis Chiron is also boosted up from 5th to 4th. There we go then. So we see Farina, and we're going to, I think, switch over to Fagioli's camera, because then you can see the whole grid, and look at all of that colour there, all waiting to get off the line at Bramgarten. And Fagioli gets off the line quickly. It's slightly damp at the moment, but we expect it to dry, but Fagioli off the line quickly, and but he's having a bit of a tussle with Farina, and I think that, and Fangio, and I think that will allow Farina to get up there. And look at those Maseratis behind. The Alphas are in a slide, but it's Maseratis who have taken the brunt of that, and I think Chiron is in a spin, and that is going to ruin many hopes Chiron had of getting up into the points. We're not necessarily going to see how quick he can be, but at the front, the Alfa Romeos are well clear. Farina leading through the very twisty hill section, and then you've got Fangio and Pagani is up in the fourth, so he has made a fantastic start there. Ahead of Hampshire, ahead of Byra. Fangio is in third, but yeah, Pagani is giving Fangio a hard time already. So, Maserati, they might well have a competitive car in this race. It's not the usual one that you would expect to see, but Pagani's had a little bit of a run onto the wet stuff there trying to have a look at Fangio, but he realises at the moment that doesn't really work, and he's going to need a little bit longer. Mind you, now he's coming for it again, but again, he can't get the grip offline at the moment, so he's having to tuck back in behind the Alfa Romeo there. Yeah, so Farina, a win would give him the World Championship, but he can't afford getting any little slides like that, and he's very sideways. Farina coming down there, can he hold it? Oh, yes he does. Fagioli in a similar predicament. He also gets away with it, and Fangio gains a little bit of ground on both of his teammates due to that, and he won't be complaining about that. There's Pagani still in fourth place, doing pretty well. Byra is ahead of Hampshire again. Then you've got Juro Cabantu and some behind him, and that's enough. And that is Benetto in the Maserati. He slides off. Don't think he's actually hit anything though, so he should be able to continue. Jeff Crossley is up behind Juro Cabantu having a push, and there are some drivers, I think, pitting for, well, I'm guessing for dries or fresh dries. It's hard to tell who's on what. Pagani has pitted, but I'm not sure if Pagani's retiring from the race, you know, because there doesn't seem to be much activity in that Maserati. Oh no, Pagani has retired. What a shame. He was having such a promising race. That is a major shame for Maserati, and plus Pagani would have been starting really well for the next Grand Prix. But the thing is, Farina, I think, has made a mistake. He's pitted, but Fagioli and Fangio have stayed out. Getting confused with all these Fs, and they have stayed out, and they are currently in P1 and 2, and Hampshire is in third. So Farina's dropped out, and there's a spun Talbot, and they've got to all make their way around him, and that's going to be tricky. Hampshire, will he avoid it? Yes, he will. That Talbot just looks like he's looks like a boat having a little cruise in a lake, doesn't he? But he's not going to be able to turn it around, I don't think. Farina avoids him successfully, so that's the first four. Will the guy behind Farina, is that Byra? Will he be able to avoid? Oh, Byra runs it quite a bit closer, but he does avoid any contact. Here comes Fagioli. He runs through and down towards the, I think this is cobblestones. It looks like cobblestones. I'm not entirely sure what is further back, but Fagioli runs down.
Has won the race.
And he takes the win. It is a two-lap race here in Bremgarten. So Luigi Fagioli wins the Swiss Grand Prix. Juanmanuel Fangio comes through in second place. And here is David Hampshire to take a podium finish. What a great performance from him. With Chiron out of the running, Hampshire becomes Maserati's lead driver here. And Farina comes home in fourth. He was closing in, but not anywhere near enough. And as ever on F1 Challenge, making a pit stop in a 5% race when the conditions, due to conditions, I'm assuming, it doesn't work out. And the guy who should have won the race quite easily, really, ends up in fourth place. So massive strategic error from Farina there. But Fagioli won't be complaining. He's now joint leader of the World Championship. Hello, welcome to the 1950 Belgian Grand Prix. This race is round 5 of the 7-round 1950 Formula 1 World Championship. The grids continue from the result in Bremgarten, where Giuseppe Farina made a pit stop in the conditions and dropped from the lead to fourth place. So he is now a bit hamstrung. In this race, he's got to find his way past David Hampshire and then get after his teammates in the Alfa Romeo. Here we go then. The grid at Spa is ready. Fagioli is on pole. You've got Fangio. You've got David Hampshire there in third. What can he do? Has Maserati got any hope? Well, Fagioli is away well. Then it's Fangio. Farina already pulling alongside Hampshire. So it looks like Alfa Romeo are going to make their customary good start. They've been good at the starts of races all season. In the early races they did struggle as the race went on, but I'm sure they have got on top of those issues. Must have been tyre wear issues, but they've got on top of those now and no issues. There we go. The Alfa Romeos are away in their formation order. Fagioli, Fangio and Farina, and Everyone behind is already dropping back. Hampshire is in fourth, but he is dropping back quite significantly. And this is the battle now between the three Alfa Romeos. They may well switch, they may well choose to keep position, but realistically, Chiron is way back, and they've got the option today. They can do what they like and try to give each of their drivers a chance of fighting for the championship. Fangio has been the one who's not got the standout results quite so much this season so far. And there's Farina having a look at Fangio. Fangio needs to try to hold that second place today, because if Farina passes him, Fangio again will be the third best driver in this team. He needs to make a point that he can run with these other two. So that is what Fangio is trying to do today. And we're watching this Alfa Romeos. There's Farina still in place, and Sanesi is already up in the fourth place. So good running from Sanesi, maximising what that Alfa Romeo can do. And there's four Alfa Romeos in this race, and they are 1, 2, 3, 4. Fagioli still leads Fangio, still leads Farina. These Alfa Romeos are happily battling, and the championship is going to look quite different. Chiron is going to lose the championship lead almost certainly, regardless of, even if Fagioli had a problem, Farina would still take it from him. So the championship is going to look very different after this race going into the final two. We've got the French Grand Prix at Reims to come, and then the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. And still at the moment Fagioli leads, and they're coming down to the final turn now. Fangio is going to have a last ditch little look at his teammate, but he can't make the move, and Fagioli will hold on. Fangio's now got to defend from Farina as luigifagioli comes around across the line and win the Belgian Grand Prix. Fantastic for Fagioli, a second win in a row. Fangio second for the second race in a row, and Farina passes Davidhampshire to get up into third place. Hello everybody, welcome to the Grand Prix de l'ACF, otherwise known as the French Grand Prix, here at Reims, and we have Fagioli on pole, then Fangio, then Farina, as they finished in Belgium, of course, so they will start in France. So this means that, and Fagioli, remember, he only needs to beat Fangio and Fagioli today to be world champion, and Chiron, but Chiron is way back in 14th, of course. So Fagioli just needing a point to wrap up the world, or a point ahead, a point more than his rivals to wrap up the world championship. Here's Fagioli on pole then. He's ahead of his two Alfa Romeo teammates, Fangio and Farina. Who is going to get off the line first? It's crucial for Fangio and Farina that they don't let it be Fagioli, but I think it is Fagioli. He leads away quite nicely, and Fangio and Farina still battling over that second place to see who should have the right to go for luigifagioli first. If they can go for him, look at the lead that Fagioli is pulling out already, and this is absolutely key for luigifagioli. He could be world champion at the end of today's race, but he's got to beat those two who are now closing up on him. Now they're settling into the race a little bit. Fangio and Farina are closing up, and Farina has taken second place, and now he will get a chance to have a run at luigifagioli. Is he going to go for it? Fagioli running a bit wide, and I think Fangio's going through as well. We switch away briefly, but we're back now, and Farina is in the first place, but will Fagioli be able to hold off Fangio? At the moment he can. He's still in second. Well, this would mean that Farina would indeed be in the championship fight going to the final race. The gap would be 5 points. Fangio, if he can pass him, I think he might have just... No, he hasn't. No, I thought I saw the orange nose in front, but it's not. It's still Fagioli right now, but he is definitely having a harder job fighting off Fangio, and it's allowing Farina to consolidate his lead. He's just pacing himself, I think, to get in that fourth place. Well, here comes Fangio down the inside of Fagioli. He might have a cheeky little look at Farina as well, but Fagioli, once again, he's gone in and taken the corner too wide, and that is going to give him instant regret, because he's now down into third place, and this is going to make the World Championship so much harder for him to wrap up today. He would still lead it, I think, going into the final race, but both Farina and Fangio would be in range. Farina still leading, Fangio second and Fagioli third, so not much changing in this Grand Prix at the minute. So it looks like it might at times, Fangio there running a little bit wide, but no way for Fagioli to get involved. No way for Fangio to get involved with Farina either. The gap's too much, and there's a spinner further back. We're going to go take a look at that, I think. That's the Maserati, is that? No, that's Crosley. Has had a massive impact, and Camotti, it was who went off and started the whole incident, but it was Crosley who had the actual crash, and here's that. There's Serafini in the Ferrari out as well, so Crosley, big crash for him. Look at those Maseratis battling. Chiron is trying to get up into that battle. He is on the back of that. Chiron would love to get some points today, but he's got a lot of strong teammates in that same car. Fangio is actually closing in. He's having a little bit of a peak, isn't he? And it's not like major pressure, because I don't think Fangio can get that close. I think he's more just hoping that if he just shows a little bit of his car, I don't know if his these cars got mirrors, I'm assuming not. But but I think Fangio is just hoping that if he shows Farina a bit of his nose, Farina's self-preservation and willingness to, you know, desire to go into the final round. Oh, another crash there. I've seen it though. Desire to go into the final round. Still with the chance of the World Championship that might just prevail, and Fangio might just be able to steal the win. I don't think Fangio's had a win all year. I think that might have been those two perhaps colliding, because neither of them are anywhere to be seen now. So that's a shame for Davidhampshire. His long run of points finishes will be over, and De Graffenried's going to get a chance to score some points. But there goes Farina. He will be the one to win the Grand Prix, and Fangio finishes in second place behind him. Luigi Fagioli in third place. Hello everybody, welcome to the title decider, the Italian Grand Prix. Farina will start from pole, Fangio second, and then Fagioli third, and the championship is very finely poised. Luigi Fagioli, he needs only to get second place. If he can finish in second, he will be world champion, regardless of what Farina and Fangio do. Farina needs to outscore Fagioli by 4 points. If he gets 3 points and ties with him, we of course run the I got here first rule, so Fagioli would stay ahead. So Farina needs to outscore him. He needs to get 4 points. So that's the third if Fagioli doesn't finish. If Farina is second, Fagioli's got to finish fifth or lower, and if Farina wins, Fagioli's got to finish third or lower. So those are the connotations for Farina. If Fangio, for him to take the title, he absolutely has to win. And he has to win with Fagioli not scoring, but also with Farina not finishing first or second. So those are the connotations for the world title. So there we go then. We see on the grid you've got Farina, Fangio, Fagioli. If they finish as they start, Farina would be the world champion, I believe. So, well, it's Fangio. No, it's not. It's Farina. Yeah, well, Fangio has got a good start, though. Farina got to defend this, because if Fangio passes him, he's no longer in championship winning position. But Senesi has gone past Fagioli. I'm sure he said he wouldn't interfere with the world championship, but this might interfere. That's going to really make things difficult for Luigi Fagioli. Farina holding on ahead of Fangio at the minute, but Fangio does look quick. Senesi still holding on ahead of Fagioli. Will he let Fagioli back through so as to not interfere with the World Championship? There's no sign of that yet, and in fact he is having a little look at Fangio. Senesi clearly wants to make an impression, or maybe he just doesn't want to be held up. That we will see. And Fangio is there. He's going to continue to have a look inside Farina, but he was having a look at Farina for much of the second half of the race in France, and nothing over. And Fagioli has repassed Senesi, so I think Senesi probably just let him through. He wants the World Championship to play out without his interference. Back to the position, a win would put Farina up to 35 points, and Fagioli in third place would go up to 34. So one of two things needs to change now for Fagioli to be in championship winning position. He either needs to pass Fangio, or he needs Fangio to pass Farina. Either one of those will do, but of course he needs Farina to have retirement, because if Fangio is to win with Fagioli in second, then Fagioli would be world champion, because Fangio is a full 6 points behind him. But I think it's quite crucial that Fagioli scores. He can't afford a retirement of his own, and to be fair, the reliability of those Alfa Romeos has been pretty good this year. We'll soon see how that works out. But let's go back to the Alphas now, because Fangio is having a look at Farina. Farina fully aware that he needs to defend this, but Fangio knows his only chance of winning the World Championship is with a win. So he'd have to try to take the lead. He's in a position here. Will he be able to go through on Giuseppe Farina? No, he can't. And in fact, he drifts a little bit wide. He might actually be able to take advantage of that by getting a bit more of a run now. Fagioli still in the picture, but he's dropped behind those two just a little bit, and I don't think he's quite got the pace of his two teammates, and that would mean that he is then at the mercy of Fangio passing Farina, which is still possible to happen. Farina needs to hold on. Fangio again trying to become, he slips and changes line, and Fangio does get inside Farina. Well, this does change the course of the World Championship, because it now puts Luigi Fagioli in championship winning position. Farina now must repass Fangio to win the World Championship. Fagioli now trying to put some pressure on Farina. I think he wants to win the World Championship on merit, and not because his one of his teammates has passed the other one. I think Fagioli wants to try to get ahead of Giuseppe Farina. Well, Fangio still leading. I think now we are coming up to half distance in this Italian Grand Prix, and at the moment Luigi Fagioli is still on course to take the World Championship. Farina needs to find some pace from somewhere. He's dropping back at the moment. If he wants to win this World Championship, his only way, with the way things stand at the moment, his only way is to get back up and to pass Fangio. And then you've got Byra attacking, it's Camotti attacking Byra. Camotti getting through into the points. So Camotti is another driver who hasn't scored points all year. We haven't had that many drivers score points, so Camotti would love to add his name to the score sheet, and this is his last chance to do so. Fangio still leading Farina and Fagioli as we come into the final lap. There's definitely more benefits for Fangio than just winning the race, so plenty of incentive, but that's good, because it means that Fangio has incentive to not choose a favourite out of his teammates and give the championship to one or the other. Fangio only has the incentive to win, and Farina behind him will have that same incentive, but he just doesn't have the pace, and the Alfa Romeos actually are spreading out quite nicely. This is looking quite good for Luigi Fagioli at the minute. If Farina, we say he's losing. Fangio's, I think, about to get held up by some back markers. This might just bring the World Championship into question. Fangio is being badly delayed here, and the championship is not over yet, and Farina is right back with Fangio, and he has not got delayed there. Farina slips straight through. Well, this is going to make it a much more tense ending to the World Championship than it needs to be. Fagioli doing all he can. He is still running in third place. He just wants to bring the car home and hope that the result goes his way now. He knows that he's not got the pace, and I think to try to push that pace would lead to him going off. He doesn't want that, because then he definitely would not win the World Championship with his two teammates running 1 and 2. So Fagioli still sitting in third place, finally gets past the back markers. He got delayed worse than Fangio, but Farina, he still has a chance. This for the World Championship. If Farina can pass Fangio into the Parabolica, he will just edge it from under the nose of his teammate Luigi Fagioli. Fangio will try his best. Farina is having a look. He is having a look. What's going to happen? Fangio retains the lead. He is still in the lead as they come down and enter into the final straight. Farina getting close, but to get the slipstream and pass Fangio before the line, I don't think it's very likely to happen, but Farina does have a bit more speed. I don't know if it's enough. Will Fangio hold on? Can Farina do it? I think Fangio is going to break Farina's heart here, and juanmanuelfangio crosses the line to win the Italian Grand Prix and to clinch the World Championship for Luigi Fagioli. Giuseppe Farina, he comes home in second place. Luigi Fagioli lost a lot of ground in the end, but third is enough for the World Championship for Luigi Fagioli.